Well, your future of driving may be closer than you actually think, because behind me is the all-new Hyundai Ioniq 5, a brand new full-electric crossover sports utility vehicle. This car will be on sale in Australia later this year, and the best bit is that is production ready. Let's take a closer look. The Ioniq 5 uses Hyundai's new eGMP platform, which stands for Global Modular Platform, and is the first car the brand has designed from the ground up as being an electric vehicle. Power comes from a choice of either a 50 kilowatt hour or 72.6 kilowatt hour battery. For context, a Tesla Model 3 has a 50 in standard and 75 kilowatt hour battery in the long range model. The Kona Electric has a 64 kilowatt hour battery, so Hyundai is definitely looking at a step up. Second only to the Porsche Taycan, it's capable of dual voltage 400 volt and 800 volt fast charging. That means on a 350 kilowatt hour fast charger, you can go from say 10% to 80% in around 18 minutes, or in 5 minutes can add about 100 kilometers worth of range to your car. Not bad. Plus, you can actually use the Ioniq 5 to power other devices, whether you're going out and need to, plug in a coffee machine, or if your friend with an electric car runs out of charge, you can basically top them up with yours. Smart thinking. The Ioniq 5 can be fitted with either rear or dual motors for all-wheel drive. An all-wheel drive car with a big battery has 225 kilowatts and 605 newton meter output and can do the 0 to 100 sprint in 5.2 seconds. A rear-wheel drive car using the 72.6 kilowatt hour battery has around a 475 kilometer range. But with the technical stuff out of the way, let's look at the most important part and perhaps the most appealing part of the Ioniq 5, the design. In the metal, this thing is incredibly cool. The Ioniq 5 draws its design inspiration from Hyundai's first car, the Pony of the 1970s, but it also has a lot of elements that kind of link to the raddest era of them all, the 80s. These really cool square parametric pixel headlamps do look like they're straight out of a computer game. It's even got hidden lighting here at the front, which while on shows a lower eyebrow, but when the car is off just matches the exterior paint color. On the front too, you've got active aerodynamics that help not only with drag, but also cooling when the car's rolling. One of the things that we were asked the most when the images of the Ioniq 5 were released is it the same size as an i30? Because it kind of looked like it. It's actually quite a bit bigger. So for context, in the Hyundai world, it is as wide as a Santa Fe, it's about as long as the new Tucson, it's as tall as a Venue, but probably the most exciting thing is it has a longer wheelbase at 3,000 millimeters, a longer wheelbase than a Palisade. Now for some context, I'm 6'3", and standing next to it, I can barely reach the middle of the roof. So it's not a small car, especially when you get inside. Before we open the boot, there's some more really cool design elements down the back of the Ioniq 5. You've got the parametric pixel tail lamps here, which I'm sure will make this thing very identifiable on the road. More two-tone colors and even some 1980s style design strakes. The color, in case you're wondering, is called Galactic Grey, and it is an existing color that you can currently get on the Kona Electric. There will be a multitude of colors available for Australia, but we're not sure which ones yet. Now, if I hit the right button, power tailgate, 531 litre boot. There's a little bit of storage under the floor, but the batteries are all under the flat floor in this car. In the back of the Ioniq 5, to put it into context, it's kind of large SUV style legroom here. I'm 6'3", I've got decent knee room, as you can see. I've actually got good headroom as well, even considering this car has a glass panoramic roof with a blind. The best bit about it though is the really deep door pads, so you kind of can sit a bit more scooched down with plenty of elbow space for you. Now the seats here are split 60-40 and they can move fore and aft independent of each other. In this car they're even powered. Well, the front cabin is also very spacious and it has a couple of really cool tricks. This giant console can slide back and forward. Now, you've got the positive side of being able to let passengers in the back access things in this, which includes USB charge ports, but also if you park up next to a wall, you can literally slide across here to get out the passenger door, which is a kind of handy way of thinking. Now the interior too is quite special. It's not just content with being an electric car to drive. You've got the use of recycled materials here, which includes recycled plastic bottles, and plant-based textiles have been used to create the interior of the Ioniq 5. So it is an electric car with a bit of a conscience. Tech-wise, you can see there are two 12.3-inch LCD displays. Now, the central one here, which does all of the navigation, infotainment and vehicle controls, will be familiar to current Hyundai drivers because it is the standard system. Up here, though, is a much more advanced system than what we're used to seeing in even current Hyundais that we'll begin to understand more when we do get a chance to take the Ioniq 5 for a drive. Now, one more advantage of the flat floor of the Ioniq 5 is the ability to put this seat into a relaxing comfort mode that basically puts it like an airplane, so you can maybe have a bit of a rest while the car is charging. So our first look at the Hyundai Ioniq 5, we've come away very impressed. It's a really cool looking thing with a very clever interior and the range and tech and capability that we've come to expect from an electric vehicle. We can't wait to get our hands on this to see what it's like on the road, especially because it's going to be on sale in Australia later this year. Of course, you can stay up to date with all news about the Ioniq 5 by reading CarAdvice.com or hit subscribe on our YouTube channel to receive all of our new videos as they publish.